I mean, when you come back to look at what we discussed last week, how many of us went back? Okay, I couldn't listen to it, but I will. All right. Okay. Chikam, there's no need for attendance today. There is no need because your attendance will be recorded as a after the class. That's when I will tell you how I'm going to get my attendance. So there's no need for attendance. What I just need you to do now is for you to just pay attention to the class this evening, and I'm going to be sending you instruction on how you can go ahead with this. So there's no need for attendance this evening. But then for you to be able to take the attendance, it means you need to stay to the end of this class. That's the only way you will know how I want to get my attendance tonight. Okay. So nobody actually went back. So let me just quickly run through the end value management analysis table, the metrics table that I discussed with you guys last week. So if you look at the table, we say we have some parameters we use to evaluate our project, to check the health of our project, to see whether we are on track or not, to enable us know if we are failing on this project or we are making progress. And this end value management analysis is what will now make us to understand where we are in our project. So, and I was able to explain what BAC is, and we said BAC is budget at completion, meaning the total amount of money that we would have spent at the end of project. That is to say, the total amount that will have gone into that project at the end of that project. And of course, we're able to look at what plan value is, and we say plan value has a formula, and the formula is BAC multiplied by plan percent complete. So we say plan value, it means what you have planned, the amount of work you anticipate to have finished in spending a certain amount of money. That is to say, if you give me money now, maybe money worth 2 million naira, I should be able to deliver something that is worth 2 million naira to you. You give me 2 million naira to go to the market and buy building materials. By the time I bring the building materials, you should be able to tell, okay, I think this is up to 2 million naira. So that's plan value. So it's just a projection. So I may just make a comment like, in the next 2 weeks, by the time we are done with this project, I will have delivered a value worth 2 million naira on this project. That means 2 weeks into the project, I will have spent 2 million doing exactly what 2 million naira should do. And I think I made an example when you give somebody money to go to the market and buy you an item, there is an anticipation. There is a value you are expecting. That's the plan. You understand? That's the plan value. And we say in terms of project, there is plan value, what we plan to have spent, what we plan to have delivered within a certain period of time. And of course, we also made mention of end value. End value means opposite of plan value. Plan value is just a projection. I say to myself, by 2023, end of 2023, I want to be out of Nigeria. But by 2025, I am still in Nigeria. Now, what is my plan value? My plan was for me to leave the country at the end of 2023. But at 2025, maybe at 2025 was when I actually now left the country. What is my end value? It means I actually was able to leave the country at the end of 2025. And I also made mention that you are working in an organization and the plan was, see, look, we are going to pay you 100,000 naira at the end of the month, provided you attend to 100 customers. But at the end of the month, you only attended to 70 customers or 50 customers, as the case may be. So at the end of the month, they paid you 70,000 as against the 100,000 you were expecting. So what is now your end value? Your end value is the actual thing you earn at the end of the day. That is where the name was coined from, end. what you eventually earn at the end of the day. So plan was just plan to get married at the age of 25. At 30, at 29, I never even get baby. That's just a plan. That's just a projection. But of course, at the end of as I was 30, I was now able to get a babe that I could get married to. Now, it does not always mean it has to be negative. It can also be positive. I plan that by when I'm 25 years old, I should be married. But at the end of the day, when I was 23, that was when I got married. So at 23 is the exact point when I got married, and that becomes my end value. So plan value was for 25. My end value was 23. So these are just simple examples that help us to understand what end value is, what plan value is, and of course what budget at completion is. So we have said budget at completion because some people are just joining in. That's why I'm using system to go back. Budget at completion means the total amount of money we will have spent at the end of the day. And of course, plan value means a projection we had in mind to have finished in spending a certain amount of money. And end value is the actual amount of the work we earn, or the actual value we earn. Now, have this in mind. Anytime you hear value, value means money. We are rating it in terms of money. Now let's proceed to the next one on the table. The next one you're seeing there is actual cost. What does that mean? Actual cost, as the name implies, the actual amount of money we have spent so far on the project. The actual amount of money we have spent so far on that project. It could be 1 week into the project. It could be 2 weeks into the project. It could be 3 weeks into the project. How much I don't spend for this project so far? That's what actual cost means. So it means the amount of money that have gone into the project. That's what we call actual cost. And of course, we say we have SPI, Schedule Performance Index. And I told us yesterday, we have XPI and SV. SPI, Schedule Performance Index. SV means schedule variance. And I told us last week that both of them are parameters that help us to know whether we are ahead of schedule, whether we are on schedule, or we are behind schedule. Those are the three possible positions we could be when we are running a project. It's either we are ahead of schedule, or behind schedule, or on schedule. Ahead of schedule means we plan 3 days to do a certain activity, but we did it in 2 days. That's us being ahead of schedule. On schedule means now 3 days they give us to make we do this work, we do this activity, and another 3 days now we use. Then behind schedule means they give us the same 3 days more to do this work. But on the 5th day, we never even near to finish the work. That's behind schedule. So how do you know your position? How can you find out either you are behind schedule, you're on schedule, or you're ahead of schedule? SPI and SV, Schedule Performance Index and Schedule Variance, helps us to know our position. So that's for schedule. They will now say cost. Your CPI or your CV, which means cost performance index or cost variance, helps us to know how we are doing in terms of our budget. Are we on budget? Are we within budget? Or we are below budget? Are we ahead of budget? Are we below budget? Or we are within budget? Those are the three possible positions we could be when we are running a project. So we can either be within the budget, we can either be below the budget, and we can either be ahead of budget. Below budget means you are running that project below the amount that was given to you, of course, without compromising quality. So originally we planned to spend $20,000 on a certain activity, but at the end of the day, after we are done with the work, quality was not compromised, everything was intact, and we spent just $15,000 or maybe $18,000. If that happens, we say you are running below budget. That means you still have some excess money to keep. Now, what does being within budget, what does that mean? It means we gave you a certain amount of money and you are spending within that certain amount of money. That's within budget. And what does it mean for you to be ahead of budget? We plan to spend 20,000 US dollars. At the end of the day, you spend 32,000 US dollars. That means you are ahead of budget. That means you have spent more than the money that was given to you. Now, I haven't explained this because was just a recap from what we have already discussed last week. Let's take our case one. Are we ready, guys? So please feel free to use the chat box. The chat box is what we are going to be using. I don't need your attendance. Your attendance, I'm going to be telling you how you're going to submit your attendance later on. But today, there is no attendance. The attendance will be at the end of this class. And this is the only way I will get it. The only way I will get it is when I understand that you understand what I'm talking about on this our class this evening. So now let's start. Now, this is what the case one is saying. It says you are managing a project to analyze 200 new tomato paste product in Nigeria. And you need to figure out your budget. Each week of the project costs the same. Pay attention to that word. Each week of the project costs the same. Your team members are paid a total of 400,000 naira every week. And you need 100,000 naira worth of material each week to do the work. If the project is scheduled to last 16 weeks, what is the BAC for the project? What is the budget at completion of this project? What is the BAC of this project? Kindly use the chat box and tell me what is the BAC for this project. Now, I want you to have it in mind. The first thing you want to do when you see a question, you want to quickly go back to that table, that end value management analysis table, and find out if there is a formula for what they are asking. If there is a formula, you just quickly apply it and you will get your answer. Now, is there a formula for BAC? Go back and check the table and use the chat box to confirm if there is formula for BAC. So that will be the only way for us to know what our BAC is. So go back, check that end value management analysis table, confirm if we have our BAC. If there is formula for BAC, then we can now look for what our BAC is. So please quickly go back. Maybe I should just help you here so that you can look at it. So here is the end value management analysis page. Quickly look at it. Is there a formula for BAC? Okay, yes, I've gotten an answer from Blessing. Blessing, well done. Blessing, well done. It doesn't matter if somebody is asking a question, so don't worry. Okay, so I've gotten 2 answers. Thank you very much, Chikama. So check the screen and confirm if there is formula. Nikita has also sent his answer and it says no formula. Okay, so I've gotten like 3 no formulas, so that means you guys are following. So, and that's correct. There is no formula for BAC. So now, when there is no formula, there is something I said last week. When there is no formula, what do we do? It's just a simple word. What do we do when there is no formula? We do analysis. All of your monitoring and controlling is just going to end value management analysis is based on analysis. End value management analysis is what? Is based on analysis. So since there is no formula for BAC, now we need to analyze. That's the thing we need to do. Now let's analyze. So we are managing a project to analyze 200 new tomato paste products in Nigeria. And you need to figure out your budget. And we say each week of the project costs the same. So that means every week we spend the same amount of money. Now we spend 400,000 naira on team members and we spend 100,000 naira on material. And we say the project is going to last for 16 weeks. Please, what is the BAC of this project? With this information we have got, what is the BAC for this project? So now here is the analysis. So every week we spend 400,000 naira on our team members, and we spend 100,000 naira on material, making it 500,000 naira per week. And now we are going to this project is going to run for 16 weeks. Well, I've helped you now. I've helped you to put the calculation, the analysis in place. How much is our BAC? What's our BAC? What's our BAC? What's our BAC? Okay. Blessing has sent her answer. She has showed the formula, but she has not given me the final answer. So what's our BAC? What's our BAC? Thank you very much, Blessing. Frederick. What's our BAC? I need a figure. What's our BAC? So I've helped you. Okay, Chris Okem, you may want to check that your answer again. Check it to be very sure. Check it to be certain that okay, somebody has sent in the right answer. What's our BAC? What's our BAC? Okay, I think Okem, you are wrong. You are right, but it's just that is the position you place your comma. What's our BAC? We have analyzed, we have done analysis now. What's our BAC? Yes, I still need more comments. Just got into comments. What's our BAC? What's our BAC? What's our BAC? Right, yes. Okay, Abo, you may need to check your answer too. Yes. Beauty, thank you very much. Yes, so I've gotten them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 answers have come in correctly. So our BAC is 8 million. Our budget at completion is 8 million. So for us to run this 200 tomato paste analysis, now 8 million I will go spend. Now, I believe every one of us here understand what BAC is, budget at completion, and all of us understand how we got our 8 million. For the recording purpose, I will not want to overemphasize it so that whoever is listening to the recording later can easily grab it. So we have done the analysis. We have said once there is no formula, we do analysis. And we have done analysis. We have seen that we spend the same amount of money every week. And how much do we spend every week? We say we spend 400,000 naira for our team members. We spend 100,000 naira for material, making it 500,000 naira each week. And we say the project is going to last for 16 weeks. So 16 multiplied by 500,000 naira will give us 8 million. And that is how we got our 8 million. Now, the next question is, what will the plan percent complete be 4 weeks into the project? What will plan percent complete be 4 weeks into the project? Now, do not be scared of the question yet. This is the only thing you need to be scared of. As soon as you read the question, go back to the end value management analysis table. That is the metrics table. Check what they are asking for. Does it have a formula? If there is formula, you just pick the formula and apply it. If there is no formula, then you do your analysis. This is what we just need to do. Now, let's go back to the table and see. This is the table, end value management analysis. They are asking us for plan percent complete. Is there a formula for plan percent complete? Use the chat box to confirm that. Is there a formula for plan percent complete? Is there a formula for plan percent complete? We have the table in front of us. Is there a formula for plan percent complete? The table is on our screen. It is being shared. Is there a formula for plan percent complete? How will you know? How will you know that a question has no formula, sir? Okay, so we have the table and we have the question. So the question is there. in the case one that we just looked at. They asked us what's the BAC, and we went back to the table to check, and we noticed that there is no formula for BAC. Okay, when you're saying yes, there is formula. No, there is no formula. Okay, better Oladimeji is saying there is no formula. And of course, okay, Chikama is saying yes, there is formula. No formula. Okay. So, like I said, Likita, you just need to check your table and check. Yes. So, no formula only for PV. No formula. No formula. No formula. Fantastic. Now, what we have there is plan value and not plan percent complete. But what they are asking for is plan percent complete. So what do we need to do now? Since there is no formula, what do we need to do? We need to analyze. So how do we analyze this? No formula for plan percent complete, not PV. There's formula for PV, but there's no formula for plan percent complete. So now let's look at it. Let's do our analysis back. So the question is saying, what will the plan percent complete be 4 weeks into the project? And we have said, once there is no formula, what do we need to do? We need to analyze. Now, look back at this question. So, what is plan percent complete? That is, plan percent complete will mean that there is a certain percentage we should have gotten to in the space of 4 weeks. Now, what's the duration of the project itself? 16 weeks, not so? Very well. 16 weeks is the total duration of the project. And now they are asking us that if we have spent 4 weeks into the project, how many percent we don't complete? What will be the percentage we have completed into the project? Now, simple arithmetic. For me, this is how I put it. This is how I make it easy for myself. I say we have 16 weeks, and they're asking me for 4 weeks into the project. What's the percentage? Now, that 16 weeks, since it's the total duration, I want to rate that 16 weeks in 100%. So if I rate 16 weeks in 100%, what does that mean? It means the total duration of the project, which is 16 weeks, is 100%. That's what it means. So now that we now know that 16 weeks is 100%, another simple logic is, okay, they're asking me 4 weeks into the project, what would be the percentage? And I already know that 16 weeks is already 100%. Now, some of you may be wondering, how come 16 weeks is 100%? Now, this is just a simple illustration I can give. For every one full item that is complete, that is workable, that can function by itself, we refer to it as 100%. For example, as I am standing now, I am not handicapped, I am not blind, I am not harmless. I have I have 2 legs, I have my 2 arms, I have head, I have eyes, I have mouth, I have nose. So everything about me is complete. So if you want to look at me and say, okay, Mr. Solomon is a complete form of human being, and that is 100%. Now, somebody that does not have maybe a complete human being, but he cannot walk well, or maybe he has dislocated his leg, or he does not have a leg, the leg has been amputated. What you want to refer to, you say, no, this person is his body structure is not fully completed. I think he has undergone a surgery or an operation, so he doesn't have 2 legs. So when I give him a percentage of how he is, you may begin to say, okay, I wouldn't rate him in 100% because he does not have this one, he does not have that. Or picture it this other way. A moving car, a car that can move. As soon as you start it, it moves. Then with another car that does not have the 4 wheels anymore, they have removed the 4 wheels. Now, in between these 2 cars, which of them is a complete car? Of course, the one that has its 4 wheel still attached to it, and of course, when you start it, it will still go. So that is how we now rate it in percentage. So the total duration of our project is 16 weeks. So we are rating it in 100%. So now that we now know that 16 weeks is 100%, now let's do the analysis. You take that 16 weeks. They're asking for 4 weeks into the project. What will be the percentage? Now take that 16 weeks, divide it into 2. What do we now have? We have 8 weeks here. We have 8 weeks the other way. And we have, if we are to assign percentage to it, that is 50% for 8 weeks. But what we are looking for is 4 weeks into the project. But we have 8 weeks. And it's giving us 50%. So let's further make our division. Then you take one part of the 8 weeks, you divide it into 2. Oh yes, we now have 4 weeks. Now if you divide that 8 weeks, which is 50% into 2, what do we have? If we now to rate it in percentage, it means 4 weeks into our project, we must have done 25% of the work. And 25% of the 200 tomato paste we are seeing there will be 50 tomato paste, and that's 25% of it. But for some of us who did not understand the analysis that I just did, for some of us who are mathematicians, who are gurus, the simple method you just want to simply use is the number of weeks that the plant percent complete number of weeks over the total amount of weeks that the project is to last, multiply by 100%, and that will give you 25%. So that is to say 4 over 16 multiplied by 100%. That will give us 25%. Now, if you do not understand how we got 25%, please kindly use the chat box. Okay. Grace Morris has already given me an answer since before now. Blessing has given me an answer. Chris Okem has given me an answer. Okay, that's beautiful. It means you guys are following my analysis. You guys understood what I've been saying. So for any one of us that didn't get how we got 25%, what we just simply did was for us to play around the figures. We make the division, we divide it. Please, I don't understand how you got 25%. Okay, so we rate the 16 weeks as 100% because that's the total duration of the our project. That's the total duration of our project. So we rate it in 100%. Then we'll now say, okay, that 16 weeks that we have rated in 100%, play with it. Make a division of it. Now, the question says 4 weeks into the project, what is our planned percent complete? 4 weeks into the project. So we say we have 16 weeks that is 100%. Then we play around that 16 weeks. We decided to divide that 16 weeks into 2. When we divided it into 2, we now have 8 weeks and 8 weeks side by side, attached to them or assigned to them 50%. Then we went ahead and take one of those 8 weeks and divided it into 2. Now, when we divided it, remember the 8 weeks was 50%. When we slash it into 2, we now have 4 weeks, and for each of the 4 weeks is attached to a percentage attached to it is now 25%. 50% divided by 2 will give you 25. So that's how we got 25%. And if you are to also be asked, so how many new tomato paste we should have analyzed in the next 2 weeks, or for that in the next 4 weeks rather, it means we will have analyzed 50 tomato paste. You understand? So that's how we got 25%. Now let's take the next question. The next question says, okay, for those of us who still don't understand how we got 25%, the simple arithmetic you want to do is for you to the 4 weeks projection, the plan percent complete, divide by the total duration of weeks, multiply by 100%, will give us 25%. Have it in mind that plan value and plan percent complete are the same thing. The only difference is just the units. One is in value, the other one is in percentage. One is rated in money, the other one is rated in percentage. Now let's take the next question. What should the PV be 4 weeks into the project? What should the PV be 4 weeks into the project? What is PV? What is plan value? Now, like I said, before you begin to attempt the question, the first thing you want to do is do what? Go back to your end value management analysis table, the metrics table, and confirm if there is formula for the question that has been asked. This time around, they're asking us, what is the plan value be 4 weeks into the project? What should the plan value be 4 weeks into the project? So before we begin to solve, let's check, is there a formula for plan value? Use the chat box to confirm if there's formula for plan value. Is there a formula for plan value? 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 Let's check. Is there a formula for plan value? This is plan value. I think we can see my cursor. Let me use lesser pointer. This is our plan value. Is there a formula for plan value? Just want to check. I think I need to take away one and use the other one. So is there a formula for plan value? Lesser pointer. Yeah, I don't know why both of them are picking. I think I should just cancel both of them. Okay. Yes. Is there a formula for plan value? Yes, there is formula for plan value. Yes, there is formula for plan value. So now let's quickly do the calculation since there's formula for plan value. Now, what's the formula for plan value? Hey, Blessing, calm down. Oh, Blessing, calm down. You know, all of us know this math. Blessing, relax. Relax. Calm down, calm down. Let's take it gradually. Yes, so we say we have plan value. What's the formula for plan value? Our formula for plan value is what? What's our formula for plan value? PV is equals to BAC multiplied by plan percent complete. That's our formula for plan value. So, what's our BAC? What's our BAC? What's our budget at completion? Our budget at completion is what? 8 million. That's our budget at completion, as we calculated. Our budget at completion is 8 million. Now, what's our plan percent complete? Our plan percent complete is 25%. Now, they are now asking us, what's the plan value 4 weeks into the project? What's the plan value 4 weeks into the project? What's the plan value 4 weeks into the project? So our plan value is BAC multiplied by plan percent complete. And of course, our BAC is 8 million. Our plan percent complete is 25%. So what is our plan value? I'm waiting for responses. Apart from Blessing, what's our plan value? What's our plan value? Yes, BAC is 8 million. Yes, that's correct, Peter. But the question now is, what's our plan value? What's our plan value? What's our plan value? Okay, Cynthia is saying, okay, I don't think Cynthia is responding to the question I just asked. What's our plan value? Okay, Abu Ochefie, did you say 200 million? You may want to check that. Check that again. What's our plan value? Yes. Now, be careful. Do not multiply 8 million by 25. You need to be careful with that arithmetic. Don't multiply 8 million by 25. What you are looking for is, what is the percentage of, what's 25% of 8 million? That's what you are looking for, not 8 million multiplied by 25. So you need to be careful with that calculation there. Otherwise, it will give you a wrong answer. Yes. So what's 25% of 8 million? What's 25% of 8 million? So far I've gotten just 2 answers. Okay. Okay. Kachi has also sent me the correct answer. Thank you very much, Kachi. That's correct. 2 million. 2 million, 2 million. Yes. 25% of 8 million will give us 2 million. Now, simple arithmetic you want to do is what is for you to do this. BAC multiplied by plan percent complete. You want to say 8 million multiplied by 25%. And of course, 25% divided by 100% multiplied by 8 million will give you 2 million. No, Ali, you may need to check that again. So this is what you will use. 25% divided by 100% multiplied by 8 million will give you 2 million. Or you can just go the way Kachi did her own. She converted 25%. First of all, and she still did the same thing. She divided 25% by 100%, and that gave her 0.25. And she used that to multiply 8 million, and that gave her 2 million. So there are different ways we can get it. So, but the simple way you can just do it is find out what's 25% of 8 million. And you want to do the calculation, you can just easily just analyze it the way we analyze the 16 weeks. Carry the 8 million ahead. We find the 25%. Rate 8 million in 100%. Divide the 8 million into 2. That is, you have 4 million by the right hand, you have 4 million by the left hand. Now, assign them the percentage. That is 50%. You pick one side, which is 4 million. You divide it into 2 again, which the 4 million is assigned 50%. When you divide it into 2, you now have 2 million with 25% assigned to it. And that's just a simple way, simple logic for you to get how we got our 2 million. So our planned value is 2 million. That is to say, 4 weeks into the project, we will have spent 2 million naira to deliver a value worth 25%. From this whole thing we have gotten, that is to say, in 4 weeks, we will have spent 2 million naira and we will have analyzed 50 million tomato paste. All of these things we did now, that is just the analysis. That is to say, 4 weeks into the project, we will have analyzed 50 new tomato paste and we will have spent 2 million in analyzing that 50 new tomato paste. Now, if you have gotten all we have been doing so far, kindly quickly use the chat box and type G to G. That is good to go. G to G. G to G, G to G. I'm expecting responses. I'm expecting responses. I'm expecting responses. Yes. If you've gotten what I've been doing so far, just use G to G. Yeti, thank you very much. G to G. Yes, G to G. Yes, 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 more. We're about 20 of us. G to G. Yes, yes. G to G. Box, G to G. That's all we have been saying since. Cynthia, why are you laughing? You're not sure? You're just using the G to G. Okay, yes. Vladimir says G to G, yes. G to G, G to G. Okay, G to G. All right. So far we have gotten all. Okay, I am sure, sir. Thank you. Okay. All right. That's just to confirm if you're sure. All right, let's proceed to the next question. This is where it begins to get difficult. This is where it begins to get okay. Okay. Just a moment. We've gotten a okay, I'm not seeing the message per se. Okay, G to G. Okay, that's fine. Now, this is where it gets complicated because it is problem now. You see, what we have done so far is smooth. Now, let's see how it continues to get complicated. Now, look at the next question. The next question says, you have checked with your team, but they have bad news. That is already a sign of problem. They have bad news. Now, the schedule says, from what we have analyzed so far and the figures we have gotten, the schedule says they were supposed to have analyzed 50 new tomato paste by now. Remember I said it. 4 weeks into the project, we should have finished analyzing 50 new tomato paste. Now, 4 weeks have come and gone. And they're telling us that, look, we have not analyzed 50. We have only analyzed 40. Are you seeing where it's beginning to get complicated? Now, let me read the question again. You checked with your team, but they have bad news, beginning of problem. The schedule says they were supposed to have analyzed 50 new tomato paste by now, but they have only analyzed 40. They're supposed to have analyzed how many? 50 new tomato paste. That is 25% of the work in 4 weeks' time. But they have only analyzed 40. Now the question says, can you figure out the actual percent complete? Actual percent complete. Actual percent complete. Can you figure out the actual percent complete? Now, like I said before you begin to pick the question, before you begin to say you want to attempt it, the first thing you want to do is go back to the end value management analysis matrix table and find out, is there a formula for actual percent complete? Is there a formula for actual percent complete? Check and use the chat box and confirm to me if there's formula for actual percent complete. Is there a formula for actual percent complete? Is there a formula for actual percent complete? Is the chat box? Is there a formula for actual percent complete? Let me just get 1 or 2 answers. Okay, Cynthia is saying no. Abo is saying no. Kachi is saying no. There's no formula. There's no formula for actual percent complete. Chris Okem is also saying no. There's no formula for actual percent complete. That is to say, what do? We are going to be analyzing since there is no formula for actual percent complete. So what do we need to do for us to get our actual percent complete? Now, we will analyze. How many new tomato paste have been analyzed by now? How many new tomato paste? According to the question, it says only 40 has been analyzed. Just 40. Now, the next question you want to ask yourself is, what was the projection before now? The projection before now is that by the end of 4 weeks, we should have analyzed 50 new tomato pastes at the end of 4 weeks. But we have only analyzed 40. Are you seeing it now? So now, the question is, can you figure out the actual percent complete? That is to say, what is the percentage of the work done? What is the percentage of the work done so far? You're supposed to have finished, analyze. Okay, Cynthia, calm down. I don't know how you got 20%, but you just need to calm down. You may want to mathematically express it so that we can understand, because me, I don't even understand how you got 20 because I don't even know the maths. So you can just want to break it down for us. Remember, all of us don't know this mathematics. So you need to actually break it down so that all of us can understand it. Now, they have analyzed 40. That's what the team has done. We're supposed to have analyzed 50. Can we figure out the actual percent of work that has been done? Can we figure it out? Now, let's do the analysis. Let's do the analysis. Yes. Okay. All right, Cynthia, thank you very much. That's correct. So we have analyzed 40. Now, the 40 that we have analyzed is out of how many? Out of the 200 we are supposed to have analyzed. So the simple mathematics here is 40 divided by 200 multiplied by, remember we are looking for, the question says actual percent. So it means our answer must be in percentage. Actual percent complete. So that's 40 divided by 200 multiplied by 100%. Then you will get 20%. So 20% is what we have done so far. Now, some of you may be confused and you may be saying, now 50, and they say we could not analyze at the end of 4 weeks. And if we don't only analyze 40, and we'll just subtract 50. We'll subtract the 50 from 40 now. No, you have to subtract the 40 from the total amount of the new tomato paste that should have been analyzed. So what's our percentage? Percentage of work done. Percentage of work done is 20%. Now, if we go back to our projection, remember the plan value, the plan percent complete 4 weeks into the project. What did we get? We got 25%. But when we check the actual work done, we got 20%. Now, you may want to also note this, that end value and actual percent complete, they are the same thing. The difference is, the only difference is the unit. End value and actual percent complete is the same thing. The only difference is the end is the unit. So for example, actual percent complete is asking us the percentage of work done. Actual what's the name now? Plan percent complete is telling us what's our plan. The plan, our projection. So plan percent complete and actual percent complete rather, and end value is the same thing. It's just that the units are different. End value is rated in money, actual percent complete is rated in percentage. Okay, so Okem is saying he has gotten it. So I believe every one of us have also gotten it. Now, we have figured out the actual percent complete. That is to say, for them to only have analyzed 40 new tomato paste, it means that it is only 20% of the work that they have done. Now, if you look at it, they have spent 4 weeks. Instead of them to analyze 50 new tomato paste, they analyzed 40. Are you seeing the trend of things? Are you seeing that in this kind of activity, in this kind of project, 4 weeks? Yes. Are they behind schedule? Yes. Because they should have done 50%, 50 new tomato paste, but they have already analyzed 40. And when it comes to percentage, they should have done 25%, but they have only done 20%. So we have been able to see what the actual percent complete is. Now, the next question is, what should the end value be right now? But before we take the end value, what the end value should be for us to know whether we are within budget, behind budget, below budget, or ahead of budget, let's just find out what's the variance in terms of percentage of work done. Now, what was the projection? The projection is that we should have completed 25% of the work at the end of 4 weeks. 4 weeks has come and gone. We only did 20%. What is the variance here in terms of percentage? Please use the chat box. What's the variance? What's the variance? What's the variance? What's the variance in percentage? What's the variance? Kindly use the chat box. Use the chat box. Please use the chat box. What's the variance? The projection was 25%. We did 40%. What's the variance? What's the variance? Please use the chat box. What's the variance? What's the variance? Are we here? Use the chat box. What's the variance? I'm not getting answers from anyone. What's the variance? Okay, Yeti is saying 5%. What's the variance? What's the variance? What's the variance? Yeti, you may want to check that your answer to be sure. Yeti, you may want to check that your answer to be sure. Remember, we had a projection, we had an actual percent complete. We had a planned percent complete, we now had an actual percent complete. Yes. Beauty, okay. Okay, Beauty is saying is 10%. Okay. So let's put it this way. We gave you 4 weeks for you to finish 25% of the work. At the end of 4 weeks, you didn't do 25%, you did 20%. What's the variance? We gave you 4 weeks to do 25% of the work. At the end of 4 weeks, you only did 20%. What's the variance? What's the variance in terms of percentage? What's the variance? What's the variance? What's the variance? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I've gotten answers. What's the variance? Okay, okay. Chris is saying 5%. Okay. Okay. What's the variance? Beauty is saying is 10%. Yeti is saying is 5%. What's the variance? Cynthia has given us the right answer. It is minus 5%. We had a projection. Projection was what? 25%. At the end of the day, we delivered 20%. What's the variance? What's the variance? Is minus 5%. Is minus 5% because yes, is minus 5%. We want to subtract what we have to what we should have gotten. So we had 20% work done, then we'll subtract 25% from that 20. So we'll have minus 5. Now, what does this tell us? What does this tell us? What's the analysis here? The analysis here is telling us that we are what? We are behind schedule. The analysis here is telling us that we are behind schedule. The projection by now was just 4 weeks. We had a projection 4 weeks, 25% to complete the work. But of course, 4 weeks has come and gone. You checked and you just did 20%. Now, if you check, if you do the analysis, are you meeting up with your target, with your milestone? No, you're not meeting up. Now, can you apply trend analysis here? If we apply trend analysis here, let's say every week we are short by minus 5% for the 4 weeks, for the 16 weeks. So for each 4 weeks, we are short by 5%. Another 4 weeks, we are short by 5%. In the total of the duration of the project, we are short by 20% milestone. If you apply the trend analysis here, that is to say, sorry, that is to say, we are not going to deliver this project at the end of 16 weeks if we continue like this. Because this is already minus 5 in the first 4 weeks. We have gotten minus 5% in terms of duration. If you apply this trend analysis continuously, are we going to deliver the project within that 16 weeks? Not at all. We are not going to deliver it. So if you do the trend analysis here, you see that we have fell behind, and when it comes to schedule, we are behind schedule. Now, what's your end value? That's the last question on case 1. What's your end value? What's your end value now? Now, the first thing we want to do is for us to go back. Let's go back to the table, let's go back to our end value management analysis table, the metrics table. What's our end value? Does end value have a formula? Does end value have a formula? I'm waiting for answers. Does end value have a formula? Cynthia is saying yes. Grace is saying yes. By the way, Cynthia, well done for that, your answer. Well done for the -5 answer you gave us in terms of looking for the variance analysis. Well done. Now, is there a formula for end value? Is there a formula for end value? Is there a formula for end value? Yes, I've gotten answers from Cynthia and Grace, and they're saying yes, there is formula for end value. Now, let's apply the formula since there's formula for end value. And of course, Okem has also sent in his answer, and he's saying yes, there's formula for end value. Now, what should the end value be right now? That is to say, in terms of money, how much that 40% what we don't do, how much it worth? What's the worth of that 40 new tomato paste we have analyzed? That's just the simple answer question they're asking. What should the end value be right now? Now let's look at the formula. What's the formula? We say the formula is EV is equals to BAC multiplied by actual percent complete. What's our BAC? Our BAC is 8 million. What's our actual percent complete? Our actual percent complete is 20%. Now, how do you do that? You want to multiply 8 million by 20%. What are you going to get? What are you going to get? Kindly use the chat box. Yes, Cynthia, I will need to see your transcripts when it comes to MTH. Please request for it. I want to see something. Yes, I want to see your transcripts. Only mathematics. Yes, only your mathematics transcript. I want to see it. Well done, Cynthia. Yes, well done, Grace. More answer. I'm expecting more answers. Some of us are actually good in this calculation. Maybe I should just call it a day. Let some of us just take it up from here. Let all of us just, some of us are good in mathematics, so I will just take it up from here. Yes, so Grace and Cynthia have sent in the correct answer. Thank you very much. I think Beauty has also sent in an answer. Okay, Okem, well done, Okem. Okem has also sent in his answer. Well done. So that's 1.6 million. Yes, 1.6 million. If it's equal to 8 million multiplied by 20%, divided by 100. Yes, Blessing, what's your answer? We have seen the work. What's your answer? By the way, Grace, you didn't show us your working. Grace, you didn't show us your working. Yes, thank you very much, Blessing. Blessing has sent in an answer, and our answer is correct. Now, not to worry, if you are still trying to give me an answer for this, let's play the scenario the other way around. Yes, let's play the scenario the other way around. Now, let's play the scenario the other way around. I'm trying to think of something. Okay. So our projection before now was that we need to complete 25% of the work in 4 weeks, right? That's our projection. 4 weeks into the project, we should have completed 25%, spending that same 2 million naira that we have gotten. 2 million naira that has been budgeted for the 4 weeks. Now, 4 weeks after, what you deliver to us is 35% of the job, and you use just 2 million to deliver that 35% of the job without compromising quality or material and method of construction or method of analyzing the tomato paste. Now, let me repeat the question. For you, instead of you to give us 25% after that 4 weeks with the 2 million we gave you, you now give us 35% of the job with that exactly 2 million that we give you. Can you calculate the value of that 35%? So what you want to do is the same way you did for 8 million by 20%. Just do that 35 million, 35% by 80 million and see. So that we'll get to have an idea of how much we have saved. So the question is simple. Assuming you short above the value of work you delivered. Now you're supposed to have, ordinarily you're supposed to deliver 25% at the end of 4 weeks, but you delivered 35%. What is your end value? What's your EV? Yes. What's your EV? Am I expecting answers? What's your EV? What's your EV? Yes. No, EV, end value. Value means you will give me in monetary form. Grace, well done, but show us your working. Show us your working. Show us your working so that we remember I say myself no know this mass. So you need to show us your working. Okay. Okay, you're asking how many percent? 35%. Beauty. 35%. 35%. 35%. 35%. I'm trying to play the scenario the other way around. 35%. So what will your EV be? What will your end value be? Yes, what will your end value be? Okay, thank you very much, Grace. I've seen your working. What will your end value be? That's correct. That's correct. What will your end value be? Beauty, I'm waiting for your answer. What will your end value be? All right, you're right. I'm getting so many correct answers. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Yes, 2.8 million. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. 2.8 million. So as we speak right now, we gave you 2 million, but you gave us a work worth 2.8 million. So you have saved us 800,000. Now, if it is an internal project, the company is happy with you. If it's an external project, you are on profit and you'll be smiling. You may just want to branch, maybe that Uze within sports just to get some suya for yourself as a way of complimenting yourself for a job well done. Now, all of the things we have been analyzing, we have been solving, this is just the page. You can go back and still look at it. We must have made some errors, but it's possible we made some errors. You may just want to go back, look at it, and also review it. So by now, the tomato paste project we're analyzing, I just want to ask this question. Is this person delivering the value he promised? The value is promised. Is he delivering it? No. The value is promised in 4 weeks was a value worth 2 million naira. But after 4 weeks, the value he delivered is 1.6 million. So he's not meeting up with the value. Now, what's the variance in terms of value? What's the variance in terms of value? What he ought to have delivered and what he delivered. What's the variance? The variance is 400,000 naira. So the amount of work that is left undone is worth 400,000 naira. Now, some of you may be wondering, how did I get 400,000 naira? Projection, 4 weeks into the project, the work you should have done should be worth 2 million. But at the end of the day, you did that work 4 weeks into the project, you spent 1.6 million naira and you used it to deliver 40 new tomato paste. So that's 1.6 million. So the remaining 400,000 is still intact, but you have shot above schedule. You are now behind schedule, but this is within budget. So if we analyze it, we are within budget, but we are behind schedule. That's what it means. Yes. Yes, very correct. Very correct. Very correct. I got good answers. Yes, very correct. All right, so let's move to the next case 2. I think I should leave this case 2 and case 3 for you guys. What do you say? Let me get your opinion on the chat box. That's what will determine either I jump it or we just do it together. Yes. Should we do it together or I should leave it for you? because time is fast spent. Uh, time is fast spent, and we still have other things to discuss. Yes, let's do it together. With case one, you should be able to do it now. Okay, let's do it together so we don't waste time. So this case two, we should do it together. Okay, everybody's suggesting let's do it together. If it is money now, you will not say let's share it together. It is mass now. Yeah, then let's do it together. All of you, Grace, let's do it together. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Okay. All right. So let's do it together though. So case two question says your project has a total budget of 300,000 US dollars. You checked your record and find that you have spent 175,000 US dollars so far. The team has completed 40% of the project work. But when you check the schedule, it says they should have completed 50% of the work. Calculate the following. What's the BAC? What's the actual cost? What's the plan value? What's the end value? What's the schedule variance? What's the cost variance? What's the schedule performance index? What's the cost performance index? Now, let's quickly do it together. Let's go. We shouldn't be wasting time here. What's our BAC of this project? Quickly use the chat box. It's obvious. What's our BAC? Use the chat box. What's our BAC? What's our BAC? What's our BAC? Quickly use the chat box. What's our BAC? What's our BAC? What's our BAC? Let's do it together now. I'm not hearing from you guys. What's our BAC? Oh, case two. Yes. All right. Yes. Correct. So, correct. Aliu, Cynthia. Okay. Thank you very much. Correct answer. That's our BAC. So we have gotten our BAC. What is our actual cost in this project? How much have we spent so far in this project? What's our actual cost? Yeah. What's our actual cost? Yes, Grace, thank you very much. 175,000 US dollars. That's our actual cost. Yes, 175,000 US dollars was our, yes, thank you very much. Dorcas. Dorcas, thank you very much for your comment. I'm just seeing your comment. Your name just entered our attendance list now. It's only the people that have been making comments that are in my attendance. So when I'm coming back to take the attendance, I'm just going to be checking with those of us that participated. Those are how I collect my attendance. If you have not been saying anything before now, I'm so sorry, you don't have an attendance. So this is also an avenue for you to begin to say something. So Dorcas has just registered her name into our attendance. So 175,000 US dollars is the money we have spent so far. That's correct. That's correct. Now, what's the next question? What's the plan value? What's the plan value? Do we have our plan value here? The plan value, is it given? Is the plan value given? I don't think so. The plan value is not given. So we need to look for what our plan value is. And what is the formula for our plan value? What's the formula for our plan value? Our plan value is BAC multiplied by plan percent complete. Am I correct? Yes, I think I'm correct. Our plan value is BAC multiplied by plan percent complete. So that is to say our BAC is 300,000 US dollars multiplied by our plan percent complete. What's our plan percent complete? Yes. What's our plan percent complete? Look at the question very well. What's our plan percent complete? No, I disagree, Grace. Yes, I agree with you, Cynthia. I agree with you, Yeti. Very good. Now, let me explain it. Plan percent complete. The word plan is a projection, not the actual thing. Plan is a projection, not the actual thing. Yes, we'll look at you just registered your name into our attendance. Well done. Yes. So plan, anytime you just hear plan, now projection. Now what we plan for, but what we can't later do. what will later do? Now, if you read that question, it says, but when you check the schedule, it says they should have completed 50% of the work, but the team has only completed 40% of the work. So 40% of the work done is the actual percent complete. 50% is the projection, which is the plan. So don't mistake these two things. It may actually make you to get wrong answer. So plan is a projection. Actual is the real deal, what we have gotten. So 50% is the right answer. 50% is the right answer. So whenever you see plan, just know it is just a projection. It is not the actual figure we have on ground per se. So having said that, so it means our plan value, for us to get our plan value, we need to multiply our BAC by plan percent complete. And our BAC is 300,000 US dollars, multiplied by 50%. And that will give us 150,000 US dollars. So we have gotten our plan value. Now the next one is what? Actual costs. What's the formula for actual costs? 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 Yes, Blessing, thank you. Yes, that's correct. What's the formula for actual costs? Do we have formula for actual costs? Just want to quickly check. Is there a formula for actual costs? There is no formula for actual costs. So once there is no formula, what do? We analyze. We analyze. So before we can get our actual costs, we need to actually look for our end value. We need to look for our end value for us to get our actual costs. Actual cost was not given. So since actual cost was not given, let's go and look for our end value. Let's look for our end value. So what's our end value? Our end value is equals to BAC multiplied by actual percent complete. We have an actual percent complete, but we don't have actual costs. So and there's no problem if your device switches off, the recording will be published before tomorrow morning. I will publish it. All right. So yes, thank you very much, Grace. Grace has given me the answer, 120,000 US dollars. So our EV is equals to BAC multiplied by actual percent complete. So 300,000 multiplied by 40% will give us 120,000. Yes, your attendance has been recorded as soon as you make contribution to our class. As soon as you give me an answer, even when either you fail it or you pass it, I have taken your attendance. So we have gotten our end value to be 120,000 US dollars. Now let's quickly look for what's our schedule variance. What's our schedule variance? Oh, we had actual cost now. Actual cost is in the question. Our actual cost is in the question. Our actual cost is in the question. Our actual cost was in the question. So we have our actual cost already. So we are not looking for actual cost. What about our planned value? Planned value. Do we have our planned value? Yes. So this is the planned value we are looking for, and we have gotten our planned value, 150,000 US dollars. 150,000 US dollars is our planned value. Now we have gotten our end value. Our end value is 120,000 US dollars. Now, the next one there is schedule variance, right? Yes. What's the formula for schedule variance? What's the formula for schedule variance? What's the formula for schedule variance? Okay, let's quickly go back and check it. What's the formula for schedule variance? Does schedule variance have a formula? Yes. Schedule variance is somebody's camera is coming up. Mr. Titus Fidelis. Mr. Titus Fidelis, your camera is on. You may just want to help us and put it off.
Oh, sorry, sir.
All right. So what's our, do we have our schedule variance? Do we have formula for it? Yes, I think we do. This is the formula for schedule variance. And it says SV is equals to EV minus PV. Am I correct? Am I correct? Let me check that. Am I correct? Yeah, schedule variance. So yes, so SV is equals to EV minus PV. So what's our SV? SV is going to be EV minus PV, right? Yeah, schedule variance M value minus plan value. Okay, that's correct. So now let's go. Let's check what our schedule variance is. So what is our, let me just override it from Mr. Fidelis, since he was unable to get hold of his device. I've override it from here. So what's the formula for schedule variance? We see SV is equals to N value minus plan value. What's our N value? Our N value is 120,000 US dollars. What's our plan value? Our plan value was 150,000 US dollars. So if you do that, what's our variance? Let me check the chat box if there is. Okay, yes, Blessing have sent in an answer. Very well. Yes, Chikama, very good. Okay, I think I'm getting new people into our attendance now. Yes, minus 30,000 US dollars. Don't forget to put the sign US dollar. Don't forget to put the sign US dollars. Yes. Yes, minus 30,000 is correct. Very, very correct. Now let's quickly move on. What's the next one? The next one is CV. Yes, what's the next one? The next one is CV. Cost variance. Cost variance. Remember, we're just trying to check cost variance. So what's the formula for cost variance? CV. Is there a formula for CV? Let's quickly come back and check. The formula for CV. Where is CV? Okay, this CV. Is there a formula for it? Yes, this is formula and this is CV. Cost variance, CV, yes. So there's formula for CV and we see our formula for CV is what? Our formula for CV is N value minus actual cost. So what's our N value? Our N value is 120,000 US dollars. What's our actual cost? 175,000 US dollars. Now, what is the variance? What's the variance? Use the chat box. What's the variance? What's the variance? So if you get, yes, very correct. So if you do that mathematics well, you're going to get minus 55,000 US dollars. Is the answer minus 55,000 US dollars? Is the answer. What's the next one? The next one is schedule performance index. Schedule performance index. What's the formula? The formula for schedule performance index is N value divided by plan value. N value divided by plan value. N value divided by plan value is what SPI is. So what's our N value? Our N value is 120,000 US dollars divided by 150,000 US dollars. And that will give us 0.8. Yes. So our schedule performance index is giving us 0.8. Very soon, in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to be telling you what that 0.8 mean. What does 0.8 mean? What does it translate to when we are checking to be sure where we are in our project? What does it translate to? So That's 0.8. I'm going to be analyzing it. I'm going to be talking about it. Now let's move to the next one. The next one is CPI, which is the last question. The last question, it says CPI, Cost Performance Index. What's the formula? The formula is CPI equals to end value divided by actual costs. Let's check the formula just to be sure. Where's CPI? This is CPI, and this is the formula. CPI, and this is the formula. This is the formula. This is Cost Performance Index, and this is the formula. Now let's quickly go back and do the calculation. CPI. So the formula for CPI is end value minus divided by actual cost rather, and we have 120,000 US dollars divided by 175 US dollars, and that will give us 0.69. That's what it translates to. Some of us may want to round the figure up maybe to one decimal place. That is 0.7. You are still correct, but 0.6 is actually 0.69 is actually the right answer if you're leaving it in two decimal place. Yes, 0.69. Now, take note of this. You may want to write CV, although I've mentioned it before, CV and CPI helps you to know how you are doing in terms of spending, in terms of your budget. It helps you to know how you are doing in terms of your spending. SV and SPI helps you to know how you are doing in terms of your schedule. So someone could be wondering, can I really use this in my project? Yes. And as long as you put the parameters correctly, you can use it in your individual project. Now, if you note, what's the CV on this project we just calculated, the cost variance. What's the cost variance we just calculated for this project? It is minus 55,000 US dollars. Therefore, it means that this kind of project manager shot above budget by 55,000 US dollars. Yes. Did this error only happen overnight? Did he just shot above this 55,000 US dollars just in one day? No, he did not. These are small parameters that he has been accumulating as falling back behind them in terms of spending. He has been overspending small, gradually, till he now got to minus 55,000 US dollars. There was a time when it was just 5,000 US dollars. There was a time when it was just $5,000. There was a time when it was just $5. So this kind of project manager was not monitoring. Remember what we are discussing, monitoring and what? Controlling. So this kind of project manager was not monitoring, and that's how he arrived at minus 55,000 US dollars. He was not on ground. It's just that kind of project manager. They just come in, bounce in and bounce back. So the reason it became like this is because the project manager just disappears. So if we put the trend analysis here, the money that was assigned or the budget for this project, will it be able to cover for our project? Not at all. So if, for example, now how do you meet up in terms of schedule, just in case you have shot above, you have gone you are behind schedule? What do you need to do? These are one of the parameters or the strategies you want to put in place. Maybe your workers, you close by 4 p.m. every day. You may just want to say to them, guys, we are behind schedule. Can we just have 1 hour extension so that we can be able to cover? Once we cover, we can just go back to our regular closing time. Those are one of the strategies. Those are one of the mechanisms you want to apply just to meet up with schedule. And when it comes to costs, maybe there is this regular incentive you give to your team members every weekend. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna take go Jai. You understand? At this point, you need to stop. You need to tell them, look, that's small change you are giving us. And I'm not going to see them again, because we don't shoot past our budget. We have shot above budget. So all those small incentive will not be coming up, again. So that's what one of the strategies you want to put in place. So all of the things we have done, this is just it. This is the calculation we just finished. You can still go back and check to be sure that we didn't make any mistakes. Now, have this in mind. What is the take home? The take home is when your SV is 0. When your SV is 0, you are on schedule. In this case, what was our SV? Let's go back to the calculation. What's our SV? What's our SV? Remember, SV and SPI is telling us how we are doing in terms of our schedule. So what's our SV? Our SV is 0.8. Now, if you check, we say when your SV is 0, you are on schedule. When your SV is 0, you are on schedule. What did we get in our SV? In our variance. What did we get in our schedule variance? Let's quickly go back. Our schedule variance. They say when your SV is 0, you're on schedule. But our SV is minus $30,000. What does that signify? What does it signify? It signifies that we are what? It signifies that when your SV is 0, you're on schedule. That signifies that we are not on schedule. That is to say, when your SV is negative, you are behind schedule. And in this case, we are what? We are behind schedule. Now, when your SV is positive, you are ahead of schedule. Now, positive means there is no minus in front of it. You are ahead of schedule, which is a good news. Now, let's move to the next one. When your CV is 0, you are on budget. When your CV is 0, you're on budget. What's CV? CV is cost variance. Now, let's go back and check what's our CV. What's our CV here? Our CV is minus 55,000 US dollars. What does that tell us? Minus 55,000 US dollars. CV is telling us that when your CV is 0, you're on budget. But of course, in this case, our CV is negative. And that is to say, we are behind, you are ahead of budget. And ahead of budget means you have spent above the budget that has been assigned to you. Now, when your CV is positive, it means you are running below budget. Running below budget means, just like the example I gave before, we gave you 2 million to deliver 25% of the work, but you went ahead and deliver 35% of that work. Now, delivering 30% of that work means your CV is positive. Also means you are running below budget, because that 35% that you deliver, you will have spent 2.8 million delivering it. But at the end of the day, you spend just 2 million to deliver it. And that is to say, it means you are running below budget. Now, when your SPI is less than 1, you are behind schedule. When your SPI is less than 1, you are behind schedule. What was our SPI? Let's go back and check. What was our SPI? Our SPI was 0.8. Our SPI was 0.8. Now, let's go back to that statement. I say when your SPI is less than 1, you are behind schedule. So that is to confirm that since our SPI is 0.8, that is to confirm that it is less than 1 and we are behind schedule. This statement just confirms what we have here, what we have on our SV about schedule. When your SV is 0, you are on schedule. When your SV is negative, you are behind schedule. When your SV is positive, you are ahead of schedule. Remember, SV and SPI are parameters that helps to tell us where we are when it comes to schedule. And here, our SV is already negative and is telling us that we are behind schedule. And here, our SV is telling us that once, our SPI is telling us that once it is less than 1, it means we are behind schedule. And our SV is what? Our SV is 0.8. That is to also confirm the statement of SV. So our SPI is 0.8. Our SV is negative, and that's to also confirm. Our SV is negative, is reading minus, which is this. So our SV is reading minus, our SPI is less than 1. That's to confirm that we are behind schedule. Now, what's the next one? The next one is when your SV is 1, you are on schedule. When your SPI is above 1, you are ahead of schedule. That's what it means. Now, when we say SPI, when we say SPI is less than 1, you are behind schedule. When your SPI is 1, you are on schedule. When your SPI is above 1, you are ahead of schedule. When we say SPI being above 1, which is you are ahead of schedule, which is a good thing, does not translate that your SPI must be 2. No, that's not what it means. Your SPI can never be 2. It's just like you telling me that you traveled from Lagos to Abuja without spending any minutes. If it is 2, that means you are Harry Potter, you are Merlin. You can just disappear and appear if your SPI is 2. So your SPI can never be 2. So when we say your SPI above 1, it means 1 point something, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and all of that. But your SPI can never be 2. The same thing when it comes to costs, CPI. Your CPI can also never be 2. It's just that you just want to tell us that you travel from Lagos to Abuja and you didn't spend a dime. Yes, very possible. You might get a lift by air. Very, very possible. Somebody might be paying for your flights. Very, very possible. But is there a cost for it? Yes, somebody is paying for it. There is a cost. So it does not mean that you just find yourself from Lagos to Abuja without spending a dime, whether indirectly or indirectly. It is after 9, so we need to be fast. Let me just quickly conclude. I think basically this is just the major aspect of our class this evening. So far, we have spent about 1 hour, 35 minutes. But of course, I'm going to be using the next 10 minutes to round up the rest of this monitoring and controlling manual. But of course, this is your own take home. Case 3. Case 3 is for you to solve. Now, if you look at the question, it says determine the health status of the project. Determine the health status of the project simply means all of these things we look for in case 2. And you are now to tell us whether the project is on schedule or behind schedule, ahead of schedule or on schedule. So the health of that project is all of these parameters. Then at the end of the day, you should be able to give us, what's the name? You should be able to give us recommendation that this project is ahead of schedule, behind schedule, and so on and so forth. Now, let me just quickly run through the rest. So case 3 is for you. Check your notes, you will see it there. Check your notes, you will see it in case 3. The manual I published, check it. I think you will find it in, let me see the slide. Let me see the slide, you will find it. You'll find it on slide 34. So that's your case 3, please. I'm going to be sending you an instruction and you are going to be submitting the case 3. So the case 3 is your assignment. You do it on your own. Now let's go. Control quality is another thing we do when we are monitoring and controlling our project. What do we do when we control quality? We just want to periodically check the results we have got to be sure that it meets with the specification, it meets with the requirement. Now, except if the result requires testing, you need to test to be sure that every functionality is working. You also control resources. You control resources. You want to make sure that all the resources that are deployed into your project are being used for what it is. For example, our company data, what do you use it for? Do you use it for Netflix, for TikTok, for Snapchat, for YouTube? And before you know, data don't finish. And once data finish, what the data was intended for will not be achieved. You understand? We also, one of the things we also do is we monitor communication. We monitor communication. That's one of the things we do. And of course, the tools we use in controlling resources and techniques, like we talking about change requests and all of that. Then we also monitor communication. So in your communication, you basically, what do you need to do? You basically want to just make sure that all the information you have gets across to your stakeholders, get across to your team members, so that everybody will realize and know where they are on the project. You understand? For me, I've realized that having a very good conversation, a good communication will really save us a lot from miscommunication. And of course, we monitor risk. We want to monitor and check your risk to be sure that the risks you anticipate are not coming up. And if they are coming up, what do you need to do? You just want to quickly look at the risk response strategies you have put in place and begin to implement it. And of course, you control procurement. You control procurement. Procurement, those people you engage, your vendors, are they doing the work that you ask them to do? Are they fulfilling the terms in your contract agreement? Are they following the principles? The basics of monitoring your vendor is the agreement that you have with them. If there are deliverables they are supposed to be giving you every week, are they doing that? These are one of the things you want to check. And of course, you want to monitor stakeholders' engagement. Monitor stakeholders' engagement. Stakeholders' engagement here means you are looking out whether there are issues coming up from the stakeholders. And if issues are coming up from the stakeholders, one of the things you want to do is do not overlook any issue coming from any stakeholders. You just want to quickly be diplomatic. You want to be emotionally intelligent and quickly begin to look at their concerns. Some of them may be giving you attitude that is not nice. You just want to walk up to them and ask them, Oga stakeholder, please, what areas, what aspect do you think I can make an improvement or I can implement? What are the things you think I'm not doing right? And all of that. You understand? You just want to seek for their opinion, be reasonable with them, even when the stakeholder seems not to be reasonable. You just need to be reasonable. And one of the things you are going to use to achieve this is by way of communication. And of course, it's a two-way thing. I want to talk to you, you want to listen. You also want to talk to me, I want to listen. So active listening is one of the tools, strategies we can use when we want to effectively communicate with our stakeholders. Stakeholders engagement is all about communication. You just want to communicate so that they know what their concerns is all about. And of course, when all of this is achieved, when your result is achieved, what happens next? The next thing that happens, you let the sponsor know that you are done with the project. They will set a time when they will come over to inspect what you have done so far. We call it validate scope. This is what happens before the project closes. Even when you feel the result is okay, you still need to speak to the sponsor to let them know that you are done. And the sponsor will come and see and check everything. Then you can now say, okay, I think I'm okay with it. You are good to go. So we now say that the result has been accepted. You need to now send the result. Once the sponsor accepts the result, then you can now go ahead and close your project. So it is when the result or the deliverables has been accepted by the sponsor, that's the only time you can close your project. But of course, before closing your project, inspection has to be carried out, decision has to be made in voting, for example, to be sure that you guys are done with that project. And at the end of the day, what will be the output of our of validating scope? Deliverable is accepted, the work performance, there's work performance information, and of course, there are some documents that you have updated as time progresses, as soon as you make some change requests. Then, of course, a project comes to close. And if you look at your screen now, you see people who are happy. We are done with this project, finally. So now what do you do at this point? Some organizations have a procedure of closing. and I wouldn't want to speak otherwise of your organization. So what you want to do is you just want to check with your organization to see how they close their project. If there is a format, if there is a standard, just go ahead with that format and that standard, and then you go ahead and close your project. But of course, one of the things you want to make sure that you do before you close your project is that you call for key stakeholders to come back to meeting, what we now call project closing meeting, where everybody agrees that, yes, the goal of the project was delivered. And if there are some documents you need to sign off, sign up, those are the time for you to sign those papers and get it done. And as you that you're a project manager, you now begin to, you can also do your own closing with your team members. You're closing with your team members. What would that meeting be called? That meeting will be called lesson learn. So we call it lesson learn meeting. We share experiences, and of course, if you are generous enough as the project manager, you just want to take them to one fancy restaurant in town. Let them sit down, relax, and enjoy yourself. We have done this project and we succeeded. Just look for a very nice spot and take them to. It's just a way for you to say thank you, and not really a bribe per se. Also remember, 2 weeks before the closing of your project, you just want to quickly place a call to the head of your HRO in your department, in your organization, and let them have an idea that in the next 2 weeks, you are closing up your project. That some of the team members that are full staff members, so that they will begin to assign them to various departments or various projects as the case may be. But very importantly, you write reports and you submit that report. It becomes part of your own contribution to your company organizational process assets. And of course, we now see projects or phases close. Now remember, you cannot close your project if you have unsettled claims with vendors you are using. If there are claims, please, you need to resolve that claims. Another word for claims is dispute. Do you have any disagreement? You need to settle it. And of course, there are options available for us to settle claims, for us to settle disputes with vendors. Either you negotiate the settlement, which means you sit down and you solve your thing yourself. Or if that is not working, you draw someone who is a non-interested third party. They help you guys to resolve it. And that's what we call alternative dispute resolution, ADR. ADR, alternative dispute resolution. So that person is like an arbitrator. He will just come in and say, okay, you shift ground, me this one shift ground. And of course, you people will come to a certain point, essentially compromise, and you resolve your issue. And if that is not working, it is now the time for you to approach the court of the land, and that is litigation. But I tell you, even a lawyer will not advise that you go into litigation. You just need to be wary of litigation. You understand? So just try and see how you can use the number 1 and number 2 options to settle your dispute you may have with any of your vendors. And of course, we say one thing you need to keep in mind is that the most important output of your closed project or phase is the final product that is being delivered to the sponsor. The final result that you had, it is going to be delivered to the sponsor. That's your major concern at the end of the day. And of course, the project comes to an end. So these are the materials we use throughout. The most important one there is number 1. If you need it, you can privately just message me in my inbox, my WhatsApp. I need this reference material. I will just have to share it with you. You are not paying for it. It is free. It is part of the your fee that you have paid for. But of course, before you begin to request for it, make sure that you have taken your first assessment. And that's the only way I can confirm that you are part of us, and so on. So you're not paying for it. Remember, when you watch Nigerian movie, what do you see? What do you see when you watch Nigerian movie? At the end of that movie, you see the end, followed by glory be to God. Now, this is the end of our discussion when it comes to project management. I just want to quickly say thank you very much for all of you that made contribution during this class. Some of you who were able to make comments, some of you who followed through. I just want to say thank you very much. And also, I want to also mention that we need to, just a way of enhancing ourselves, we need to learn how to, of course, use other alternative medium of learning. It is quite important. Yes, I know at some point it kind of look as if I agreed that we are going to be sitting physically in the class for us to solve this calculation. But I tell you, from all indication, we all have seen that it is not something that is that difficult, and it is something that we can learn online. So I just want us to have an open heart so that as subsequently, when somebody say, oh, this thing is difficult, how difficult can it be? Let us even see it. And our learning tools has made easy. Technology has made life easy for us. As soon as we end this class, I am going to download this recording, upload it on the YouTube, and of course, I'm going to share it with you guys on your WhatsApp so that you can go back and listen to it. Why am I saying all of these things? I want us to have an open heart to different medium of learning. It will help us. I undertook a course. Some of you who will be requesting for CV later, in the package of that CV, when you are requesting for it, of course, I will still publish it, but you need to have taken at least your HRM and PMP before you can get that CV, because it contains those two. Yes, I took some courses online, especially in the humanitarian sector. There was no facilitator. There was no guide. All you just need was to go to the website and continue to click and be reading page by page. There is nobody to explain to you. You understand? So we must always find a way to see how we can adapt to different method of learning. Because as at our age, we really need to begin to look at how we can enhance our digital skills. Thank you very much, everyone. Bethel, Aliyu, Dorcas, Aliyu again, Princess Akai. Princess, your name is not in my attendance, so Wolika, thank you very much. Blessing, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Binta, Beauty rather. Blessing, Grace, I think Titus, yes, Titus. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeti, thank you very much too. And who else? Who else? Who else? I think I've called Grace. And okay, we have somebody. The field 2020. Okay, he managed to enter our attendance list. Thank you, every one of us who were able to participate. Please, yes, for every other course is going to start very soon. It will be published, so not to worry. So thank you very much, guys. So I'm going to be publishing the recordings maybe tomorrow, but I will publish it before the weekend, because you need to take case 3, and the submission of case 3 the deadline for submission of case 3 will be on Friday. So I'll quickly download this and publish it to you guys so that you can listen and you solve case 3. So it's very, very important. So now when you're solving case 3, that serves as your request for your login details for PMP assessment. So once you submit, we take your information and we use it to generate password. So if you do not submit the assignment, that means you are not going to take the assessment. That's what it simply means. So thank you very much, guys. I see you on Saturday.